Welcome back to the Push to Pass podcast. I am Josh Roberts, as always, and we are one man down. Michael Monroe will be joining me today. He's a stable fixture to our lovely podcast now. So he is going to be doing the production side. I'm going to be just talking out the side of my butt, as I always do. Derek is on assignment somewhere down south where it's a lot warmer and no snow because, up here in Indy, we are currently in the middle of another snowstorm after a 70-degree weather day yesterday. Michael, how's it hanging over there up in Westfield?
Well, it's definitely crazy. The weather is snow earlier today. It's not as snowy now, but there's still some snow on the ground. But 70 yesterday, and then of course Derek had to rub it in with the forecast he sent us at 86 degrees down there in Florida. So I don't envy him really because it's probably hot and humid, but it's better than the snow on the ground here.
Definitely. I'd rather be there than here right now. But off of the weather, we had a beautiful race this past Sunday down in the great state of Texas. And around Jerry's World. Well, not around it, but close to Jerry's World. The production was stellar once again by Fox. They're doing a fantastic job of promoting and getting the IndyCar. I'm getting the double thumbs up with the yikes face from Michael. He doesn't agree, but I think compared to what NBC's done, they're doing a heck of a job. So, Michael, what were your initial thoughts of this race when it was first announced? It was it was going to be it was one we added on to the list. We'll see if it's going to stick for next year. But what were your thoughts of this race?
So when they first announced it and they brought the layout out and everything like that, I thought, it's kind of F1-ish down in Miami, but let's give it a shot. Let's see how it is. And my initial thoughts from practice to right before the race was, let's see how it races, because I was really worried about calamity corners because if you watch the Indy Next race, they didn't even get to the green flag before they started crashing. So I was really worried about the IndyCar race, but it was a pretty interesting race. Great passing, great battles, and we have a whole list of things that we've come up with tonight to talk about, and I can't wait to hear your thoughts on that.
Yeah, I thought the race was interesting with that long straightaway, and I didn't think that they were going to be able to get through very many laps without a crash. And I mean, other than people, hitting the walls or clipping the corners trying to take it too steep, I don't think that there was really. I don't think there was really any like major crashes. I know there was one. I think it was. Was it Callum Ilott or who was? No, it was.
No, it was
your favorite youngster,
Roman Grosjean and Nolan Siegel.
Nolan Siegel, good old Nolan Siegel, who Michael, he loves to talk about Nolan and his inexperience and when he's going to live up to his billing of being the young wonderkin, but. I think that was really the only one. We had Mick Schumacher once again avert calamity and somehow get that car flipped around and going without having to bring out a yellow flag. But one of the first topics I want to talk about is Pit Road. What is going on with Pit Road in the last 2 weeks? These are these wing nuts that are going, or that's what I'm going to call them, wing nuts that go on the tires. Are they brand new type of material? Is it the same thing? Are we just not getting good grips on them? I mean, there's been like 2 or 3. One got ran over and thrown into the wall, and as the announcer said, if that would have hit somebody, that could have broke a femur, broke something, would have caused something. That's like a bullet coming out of there. We had a tire get hit in the pits that was sitting out. And it just seems like the pit crews of some of these teams just can't seem to get out of their own way. I mean, making pit stops last a lot longer than they should. The first week we had a tire fall off because we didn't securely fasten a car. So fastened to the car. I was interested to see that they explained on Fox that they have like magnets where the wing nut people, where they just have like extra ones where they just grab and put them on in case the other ones falls off. That was a good insight from Fox. So, Michael, what do you think's going on with the woes in pit road so far?
The woes in pit road. Let's start with the first incident with Kiffin Simpson and Scott Dixon. So actually, I didn't catch this to begin with, and it was actually brought up on X, and I seen it earlier. What happened actually is, at first, the blame, if you just, the way Fox angled it, and it was nothing Fox did, and I know I'm pretty critical of Fox, but when Fox was able to show it, it just looked like Scott Dixon clipped the tire and caused that. Actually, what happened is Simpson actually slid through his box a little bit and actually hit that tire, which then Dixon hit. So that was kind of on Kiffin there, just not being able to get into the box as smooth as possible. But that was just, that's just kind of a new pit road and kind of figuring that out. The Andretti team, though, this is not a this year problem. They have had pit road problems for years. And you could probably go back and listen to an episode last year. And I want to say it was after Thermal, the episode after Thermal, where I talked about if that 26 team can get their pit road issues fixed, Colton Herta could win some races. Well, now we're talking about it, and it's a different driver, and it's the same crew, and it's the 26 crew and the 27 crew and the 28 crew. It's not just one of them. So it's kind of we're going to have to get some pit road practice in at the Andretti stable down there in Indianapolis, because they are having some trouble. And this week off for them this coming weekend, it might be pit road practice for them, because it's just crazy. I mean, it was, I think Kyle Kirkwood, I think he had a problem on all three stops that he had. I think there was an issue on all three of his stops. And, he finally took the lead, but I can't imagine if they had clean stops all day, how far ahead of this race he would have been before Rasmussen brought out that caution, because he was on it. I mean, that car was fast all weekend long. And it just, to me, the pit road problems almost cost him this win. So Andretti's definitely going to have to use this next week and a half to kind of clean those up.
Definitely. Even the announcers were talking about just putting out that Andretti was just not the best on pit stops this past week. And as we all know, a slow pit stop can lose you races. And even if it's a fast pit stop and they don't get enough fuel, or they don't get that wing nut on, that costs you positions in a race also. Also, I mean, before the race even started, and we'll go over this a little bit more in the pit in our pick'ems that we had, but cut tire. How do you cut a tire down right before the race starts? I mean, was there something on the street that cut the tire? It was to my detriment, because of course I chose the driver that had Armstrong, that had a cut tire that had to come in right away, which this is interesting. What do you think of the strategy that they used? Because if they would have come in right away, I can't remember if they were on the softs or the hards at that time. If they hadn't finished that first lap, it would not have counted towards their allotment that they have to use. So they stuck out there for one lap just to be able to say, hey, we used that compound, so now we can move on to the next one. What do you think of that strategy?
So very, very smart from the pit wall. and crew chief and strategist, just for the fact that they have that data on the pit wall, so they can see how quick that tire is going down. Obviously, if it had gone flat already and completely gone, it would have been very detrimental to who knows how many cars, because Armstrong was starting closer to the front. So it could have been really bad. Luckily, it turned out good for them to be able to get that soft off, to use that out. But at the same time, I think it kind of put them, behind the 8 ball there, because obviously Power ended up doing it in 2 stops, and all the other drivers did it in 3. And I believe he had to do 4 stops because of that. And without, any yellows there till towards the end, I mean, it was pretty hard to make up positions. I mean, there's several drivers that did obviously make up a lot of positions. Scott McLaughlin comes to mind. Scott Dixon comes to mind. Those 2 drivers. Joseph Newgarden doing pretty well until him and his teammate got together. And we kind of talked about that last week. Is David Malukas kind of trying to get into Joseph Newgarden's head a little bit? And here we go. Malukas didn't really give him a lot of room and ended up spinning him. And then, to make matters worse, McLaughlin was coming off pit road and almost ended up blindsided there with his teammate sitting in the middle of the track there. So it could have been really, really bad for Team Penske after a weekend where they already had 2 destroyed cars, with Joseph Newgarden crashing in practice before qualifying, and then obviously Scott McLaughlin crashing in qualifying. So eventful weekend for Team Penske, to say the least.
That's another topic that it wasn't on our run sheet, but the pit exit. It seemed like a lot of times they were coming out of the pits, and the cars were not being able to see them. Do you think that? What do you think of that? I saw it more than once where cars coming onto the track and they almost clip each other. What do you think? That's just a design flaw of the layout of the track, or do you think that if they do go back to Arlington next year, that they can fix that to where you don't have those almost collisions every time?
Yeah, I think they got to do a better job on the blend line there. I think they need to extend that blend line out a little bit further. So the drivers aren't trying to get right onto the track. Now, it is going to make it a little interesting going into, is that 3 or 4, that next left-hander, coming off of pit road. And I honestly think that's what happened there with Joseph Newgarden and David Malukas. Is Malukas just didn't give Joseph enough room there and kind of clipped him. I think it could be just a design flaw of the track itself. And I think it's also a driver who's, we talked about last week? No. After St. Pete, I talked about, David Malukas has a ton of talent. I mean, I talked to him several times. I have a good conversations with David multiple times now. And for me, he's got all this talent. He's in a new car, and it's a faster car than he's probably ever been in. And he's kind of just got to rein that in a little bit. He's got to obviously give his teammate a little bit more space there. And just kind of work to where we get him, competitive, and working into, making things better for the organization instead of, letting the speed of the car drive itself in a way, so that he can work with his teammates to help the organization work better as a whole, if that makes sense. But yeah, the pit road is I think that blend line could come out just a little bit further down. But then again, you may have more of the David Malukas, Joseph Newgarden incidents. And kudos to IndyCar for looking at the situation and seeing, hey, there's not any cars coming except for Scott McLaughlin, which was a little bit dicey. They didn't throw the caution. I think in hindsight they probably should have, with McLaughlin coming off pit road there and seeing how close it was to disaster there. I mean, that could you imagine it had the caution not come out and he T-boned his teammate and God forbid Joseph gets hurt or something, I mean, then we're talking about a whole nother topic with this episode. So, in one way we look at it and we're like, hey, we let the race play out there. And in another way, if something drastic happened, this whole topic is completely different this evening.
Yeah, definitely. The blend line definitely could be extended out a little bit more. So, but that maybe we'll see if they go back next year what they decide to do. So, Michael, go ahead and take all. What our next topic?
The next topic is one that you really, really had an issue with, and I'm going to let you take this lead here because, hey. It was your topic, and I just can't wait to hear this. We may get a good rant. This could be a good clip we'll pull for this week. But it is the ending these races under caution, and I'll let you take that away, and I'll sit here in silence listening.
I can't read the format right. I should have taken this one because I knew it was myself. Okay, ending races under caution is like kissing your sister. It's unnatural. I don't like it. And I know you're going to have racing purists come to me and go, we're only supposed to race 70 laps. That's all. No more extra laps. It's not fun. You just don't add any extra excitement into this race. We did it a couple years ago at Indy. I know a lot of the racing purists, like yourself, probably didn't like it where they thought they should have ended the race under caution, but it made it fun. And I'm not saying that you have endless restarts. Throw the red flag, stop the cars for a moment, fix whatever you got to fix. If you got to clean something up, do that. If you got to get cars out of the way, get cars out of the way. Line them back up. Have one practice, one warm up lap, and then you got a green white checkered. I know it. I know a lot of people. There. I see it in your face. You only do it one time, and if you end up crashing somewhere behind them, okay, then you end under caution. But don't just automatically. Oh, somebody spun out. I'm going to bring up a collusion of what could happen. So you restart the race. You get down to enough laps to where if someone turns or someone crashes, they know that they're gonna end the race on a caution. What's to stop a team what's to stop Kyle Kirkwood's teammate from being told, hey, spin. Hey, hit the wall. Hey, do something. We want this win. I mean, Alex Palou wasn't going to catch him. Most likely he wasn't going to catch him. They restarted, and Kirkwood was pulling away from him. But who knows? Something could have happened. Kirkwood could have done something wrong and screwed it up. But what's to say that the teams will not use that to their advantage? Tell some other car that's back in the pack, spin. We need this win. We really want this win. We need it for our organization. Just green, white, checkered. If it doesn't work, end it under caution then. But don't go, can't do it. It's only 70 laps. We only said 70 laps. That's all we're going to do.
Oh, my heart hurts now. And here's why. For years, and if you've watched this podcast for very long or listened to this podcast, I started out my racing journey in North Carolina, and I started out as a NASCAR fan because who wouldn't be in North Carolina? But they have ruined the sport with green, white checkers. It's now unlimited green, white checkers, and I know you proposed one. Okay, but here's the thing. Have you ever heard of race manipulation? If they could do it during a regular, distance race, we're going to 70 laps and 67, we crash the car just because. I don't know of an IndyCar driver that would do that, just for the simple fact that those cars are expensive and crashes can be really painful for drivers. And worst of all, we've seen death in the sport. So we don't want to be telling drivers to crash or spin out or anything like that. Second of all, they could do the same thing on the green, white, checker. Most of these teams have multiple, cars, and I guess IndyCar would really step in there if you had two cars from the same organization spin out the race leader. But race manipulation is something I really don't want to talk about on this podcast, because it really hasn't been anything that I've really witnessed over the years that I've followed IndyCar. So if you get into that kind of topic, we can discuss all the exhibits from NASCAR that I could show you. But I mean, we go back, and again, a little bit off topic here, but we go back to the debacle of 2021 at Abu Dhabi in the Formula One series finale, where Max Verstappen and Lewis Hamilton were tied going into the last race for the championship, and a caution come out with 6 laps to go, and some things weren't followed to the regulations, and it got really dicey. And you had one car that was and it's a whole different topic, because it's a whole different series in the way that their pit road works. But Lewis Hamilton was, past pit road, and Max Verstappen wasn't, and Verstappen was able to pit and put on the soft tires, and Lewis was on very, very old hard tires. And it was just a debacle. And it's something that I really don't want to have to deal with in IndyCar. And I guarantee you the executives in IndyCar don't have to deal with it. So I'm okay with the race ending under yellow, just for the simple fact, and I know fans might hate this topic, and I might get a lot of hate. But if you advertise the race as a 250-mile race or 350-mile race or whatever, that's the distance. And I'm sorry, if, Kevin Simpson hit Nolan hit Nolan Siegel into Romain Grosjean and crashed up cars. Okay, sorry, that's it. Race is over. I'm sorry, ended under yellow, but we're only going to have a 1-lap shootout. And, was it going to be exciting? The way Kirkwood got away? Probably not. So, at that point, you're racing for second best at that point, and I don't know that it's worth the hassle for IndyCar or the chaos that it could cause, because it could cause a lot of money and a lot of damaged race cars, because I've seen it in NASCAR for years.
I just don't like it. I don't like the anticlimactic ending to a race that could have had some suspense. I know back at the first race of the year down in St. Pete. I know it was an anticlimactic finish because Palou was so far ahead. It could have been an anticlimactic green, white, checkered, because Kirkwood, like you said, was on a rail. He was on fire. His car was performing at peak performance. He did one heck of a pass on Palou to take the lead, and he just shot out like a cannon. But I want to give the fans something exciting, and I understand there is the possibility that it could cause accidents. It could cause, loss of money because of cars. I don't know. I hate ties in football. I hate ties in soccer, even though I don't watch soccer. Ties and ending under yellow are one of my main things that I just cannot stand. That's why I was so excited a couple years ago when they let the 500 finish the way, even though I know Ericsson or Armstrong that lost to Newgarden.
It was Ericsson.
Even though Ericsson was very upset at the post race, but I mean, It had over 100,000 people standing on their feet, excited watching it. There wouldn't have been 100,000 people in Texas on their feet, but it could have been fun. It could have made top 10 on Sports Center. So that's just my rant for the day. No tires this week. But
well, we could talk about tires a little bit. We brought this up. You brought it up in our group text. What was your thoughts on those soft tires?
I just couldn't believe that they were only going to last that long. But then, as I thought about it, I'm thinking as an oval-minded person. I love ovals, and thinking that a set of tires was only going to last 5 to 10 laps. To me, but that is just weird. But then, as I think, you got you're turning, you're moving, you're going. It's different wear on the tires as opposed to being on an oval. So I could understand why they were only lasting 5 to 10 laps.
I have actually been the one that wants this. I want those soft tires to be so fast and so grippy that you can get into a quick lap or 2 or 3 or 4 or 5, and then those tires start falling off, because then you get a little bit of a different, if your soft tire and your hard tire are pretty much the same tire, or you get the same fall off, then what's the point in having 2 different compounds? I want that one compound to fall off so drastically that it's only good in a green, white, checkered, or like that, okay, the caution come out with 7 to go, and you have, say, Joseph Newgarden, who's in 16th. He decides to come down pit road and throw those tires on, and they're so good that he can get up to maybe 10th. Like, that's the situation where I want those tires. So I actually super duper excited that those tires, super duper, yeah, we're back to those terms here, that those tires were so soft and wore out. Now, we can sit here and talk about this, but then Will Power is the guy who decided to run them 25 laps. So, I mean, he did a really good job. There was a lot of fall off, though, and you could tell that in the timing chart, because, I mean, Pelot caught him. I mean, he was like 12 seconds back and caught him within like 7 laps. So there was a lot of fall off there. And that's what I like to see when it comes to those tires and the soft tires versus the hard tires. And I don't know if this was a Will Buxton thing that kind of started with soft and hard tires, because it was always primary and alternates. And I think when he come in, he had that Formula One mindset to call them soft and hard. Either way, I think either way works. Primary, alternate, soft, hard. I think honestly, the primary and alternates, it's like the fans like, well, what's the difference? But if you call them hards versus softs, it's like, okay, yeah, you give me a difference there.
Mm-hmm. You kind of dumb it down. I mean, not saying that race fans are dumb, but you get confused on, well, what's the primary, what's the soft, what's the alternate. So if it was Will Buxton, then that was awesome. He should get a raise for bringing in that terminology of soft and hard, because it does correlate more to the race fan that just wants to watch the race and not worry about technical terms.
Now, we bring Will Buxton up, but and I give Fox a lot of grief, and I want to know your opinion. What is your thoughts on his excitement level in the booth?
I like it. I mean, I like it. He brings that F1. I've never watched an F1 race all the way through. I'll tell you that I've never watched an F1 race all the way through, but he does. I mean, it could be a race for 15th, and he is excited as it would be if they were running for the lead. And I think that's a good thing for him. He's not just like, okay, Grosjean, here he comes. He goes on the side. He's like, Grosjean coming up beside Kiffin, Simpson. Oh, they touch. Oh, Grosjean. He gets you excited. I mean, he makes it to where you're interested in that battle for 15th. And I know you, as a big fan of talking about the battles farther back, not just like first, second, third, and fourth, talking about that. He gets it. He's excited, and I think that plays towards how good he is as an announcer.
Yeah, you talk about Formula One and not watching a full race, but I can tell you this. if I can get up at 2 a.m. to watch the Formula One race, I'm going to be up at 2 a.m. I just love racing. And right now it's for me, it's Formula One, IndyCar, and NASCAR. Those are the three I've gravitated to right now. So when there's a Formula One race on, I watch it. When there's an IndyCar race on, obviously I'm watching. I'm taking notes. My poor notepad is pretty much wore out at this point. And, with NASCAR, I watch that. So yesterday I got the luxury of watching 3 races, which was very exciting for me. I woke up at 3 o'clock in the morning to watch the Formula One race. And then I had to wait a little bit for the IndyCar race, and then NASCAR was on right after. I will tell you this. When I talk about seeing what I see in F1, where we're talking about going through the field, and they're talking about battles in 9th or 10th or 11th. Like, the excitement you hear Will Buxton is the same excitement. And I mean, it could be a battle for 18th spot, and they make it sound so exciting. You like stop and you're like, what's going on? Because that's the excitement. You can hear it in their voice. And in Formula One, they don't stop talking. It is constant. Like, they are talking about something constantly. There's no delay. There's no pausing. There's no like, oh, we're going to go on board and listen. When there's a radio message that comes through in Formula One, they actually put it on the screen. So you can read it as well as you can hear it from the driver. And those are little things that are like just so different. Because F1 is more of a global sport, where IndyCar is more of a North America sport. It's getting traction across, the pond, as they say. But, Formula One is like, you have to reach a broader audience. So if you can keep that excitement level up in your voice, then you grasp someone's attention immediately. My wife will be sitting on the couch, and as soon as Crofty's screaming out the top of his lungs, my wife's like, "What's going on?" Because his voice and just the passion, you can tell the passion in his voice is just, it's grasping. So when they said Will Buxton was coming to IndyCar, that piqued my interest completely, because he comes from that world, and I wanted to see if he could bring that excitement, and for me, he has.
Yes, he definitely has. One question on that. Do you think that the organization F1 has a lot of input on how excited and how the announcers promote the sport? When I say that, I mean talking about the different teams, because of what teams you have. You have Ferrari, you have Red Bull. These big organizations are putting a lot of money into this, and they want to get more eyes and more ears, accustomed to, oh, here comes Ferrari. Oh, here comes Porsche. Does Porsche have okay, Ferrari,
Ferrari, Mercedes,
Ferrari, Mercedes, Red Bull. Do you think that could be a why they're so excited, or you think they just have a love for racing that they want to talk about that?
Okay, so this is how intense Formula One is. We talk about, we're talking about IndyCar, but Formula One is a type of open wheel sport. And the reason I bring this up is because I think that this could work for IndyCar. And what I'm talking about, and Fox has done a good job. Fox is promoting the sport, growing the sport. They're really helping. And I love the new Fox One app. I'll post that. I'm saying that right now because it's a streaming app. Yes, I pay for it, because not only can I watch my regular Fox channel, I get FS1, FS2, Fox News, Fox this, whatever Fox has, you get it in that Fox One app. I do like that because it's something that I can purchase, and if I don't have to watch anything else. If I want Fox One, I get that. And it's a stream. I don't have cable and I don't have antennas because, I don't know, that's like 1990s. That was like when I was growing up, I was trying to figure out how to get the aluminum foil to connect to get better picture. But yeah, you're standing up and you're doing these. If any like younger kids are watching this or listening to this, they have no idea what we're talking about. So streaming is obviously the future. And I'm so glad that Fox One has come out with that. and I don't know how much it is because it just rolls into my Verizon bill. So I have no idea. I think it's $15 a month, 15 or $20 a month. But you get more than just IndyCar. You get, like I said, all your Fox programming and stuff like that. But what F1, to get that back to F1, not only outside of the United States now does F1, they have F1 TV. So F1 TV is their app, which now you can't get in the United States. You can only get Apple, which Apple's done a great job, bringing all that stuff over. So F1 TV has their own commentary team that announces the race. And Sky Sports, who covers it in the UK and pretty much global, if you watch it, on TV, is a totally different commentary team. And then now Apple TV has what's called F1 Kids. And it's kind of like how the NFL has done, like with Nickelodeon and stuff like that. So it's just a way to get more people involved. And Fox is doing that with their app. You can watch it on your regular TV. You can watch it on the app. And those are things that are going to help grow the sport and promote the sport, because it's just different avenues now to get the eyes on the sport. So if we can buy a streaming app or YouTube TV, or there's 1,000 of them now, just the more eyes you can get on the sport, the better. Like we talked about last year with the commercials playing at gas stations. And I'm hoping that's not just here in Indy, because to be honest with you, we don't need them here in Indy. We just don't, but we need them more outside of Indy. So if we're playing those for, people in Idaho where, Stingray Rob is from, and they hear, hey, and we talked to, was it you or Derek that brought up the intros where the drivers, they pop the driver up and they say, oh, hey, this is Stingray Rob from wherever, Idaho. I drive for Hunko's Hollinger Racing. Was that you or Derek?
That was me. I just wanted to get your opinion on that.
Yeah, my opinion is I think it's awesome, because then someone goes, oh, he's from Texas, or he's from Denmark. Oh, I have families in Denmark, or, then it's just a way to grasp someone's attention. When you can, the more like simple things you can say. And that's why I love people that work in retail, or you see someone at the grocery store with like an Aero McLaren shirt on. There's a way to connect with that person by seeing that. Whether when I was younger and I worked at the gas station, and someone would come in with, a NASCAR hat on or an IndyCar shirt on, right away, you have a conversation starter. So those things are absolutely important for the sport. So getting that name recognition with the car, and obviously we're in an age where sponsorship is so important, where the car may change from week to week. So if someone tunes in and they're like, oh, I like this Romain Grosjean. Well, poor Dale Coyne, they need as much money as they can, that cash. So his car may change week to week. Well, now I can know, oh, he's driving a white car this week, or he's driving a blue car this week. Or, hey, Alex Palou drives like DHL like 99% of the races. So that's not a good example. But like, there's drivers that have different sponsors and different schemes. I mean, even, you look at, Team Penske, who has, tons of brand-to-brand sponsorship and things of that nature. You could have Dex Imaging on Scott's car one week. You could have Dex Imaging on David's car one week, or vice versa. The PPG brand is pretty prominent on those cars. So that intro where you get to see the driver with the car, as long as they're changing that from week to week, which I believe they are, that's definitely a good thing for newer fans, for sure.
Definitely getting anything out there. I would like to see Will Buxton changed a term. I don't want to use livery anymore. I want to use paint scheme. I think paint scheme sounds cooler than livery.
Well,
just throwing it out there.
Here's the problem. None of them are painted on anymore. They're all just a gigantic wrap. So that's where the livery come from. But yes, livery is another term for paint scheme. But back in the day, those cars used to be all hand painted, or painted in a fabrication shop. So it's always been paint scheme for me. And then NASCAR still tries to call them. Now they're calling them wraps over there, and I'm like, no, it's just a paint scheme. Just let it go. It's a paint scheme for sure.
Definitely. So we got a little bit off topic. Let's get back on topic.
Okay.
Hey, I love it. I love getting off topic.
So here's what I wanted to ask you. This next point, I know you were like kind of confused on where I was going with. Where else could this work? It was actually announced today from Adam Stern on X. I think we're calling it X now, but I'm not 100% sure. If you're not new, if you're older school, it's Twitter or X. He announced today. Excuse me. That means I've been talking too much. He announced today that there's a potential that this kind of thing could move to Denver, and we could race around Denver's Mile High Stadium. And I don't know what it's actually called, the naming rights there, so I apologize for that. But everyone knows it as Mile High Stadium. This could potentially go to that market as early as 2027. So I think what Jerry Jones, Roger Penske, and IndyCar have done here is something that NASCAR tried to do when they took the Clash to the LA Coliseum. I think what we've come up with here is something that could be transplanted to different cities. And I know we've had street courses before, but this is something where not only now are you I know I saw my mom earlier, and her boyfriend really doesn't watch IndyCar. They're more of NASCAR fans. They're in Tennessee, so kind of fits the market. But he actually watched the IndyCar race yesterday because he's a Dallas Cowboys fan. And he heard about it on one of his Cowboy fan Facebook pages. Okay, perfect. So now we're connecting NFL to IndyCar. And I think we're seeing a little bit of Fox's hand in this, because Fox obviously has a big presence in not only IndyCar, but the NFL as well. And they spend a lot of money on NFL. We're now seeing these kind of collabs with NFL and IndyCar with, Jerry Jones and Roger Penske. I mean, two iconic figures in their respected, whether you like them or not, whether you like Jerry Jones or not, whether you like the Dallas Cowboys or not, you know who Jerry Jones is. So therefore, you're seeing this. And could you imagine John Elway with Roger Penske and the Sam Walton family, the Walmart family there, promoting? Could you imagine F1, being broadcast? You go into a Walmart and you're seeing F1 on TVs, their TV wall, and you hear an advertisement come across. Don't forget to watch the IndyCar race at Mile High Stadium Sunday, whatever day they decide to choose. I mean, these are big things that could grow the sport exponentially.
Oh, definitely. I could do, and I think Peyton Manning would be a better ambassador than John Elway. I mean, with Peyton Manning's face out there with all his commercials and Papa John's and all that. But yes, I do think the collabs with the NFL will do really well for them, bringing them on board, just like they had, even though you didn't like them showing him during the race, Jameis Winston being at St. Pete and doing some commentary there, that's helped. And by the way, it's Empower Field at Mile High. It used to be something else, but as we all know, it's Mile High. That would be an interesting one, because I'm not sure. Do they do auto racing? Like, does NASCAR ever go to Denver? Do they have a Denver Speedway?
No. So the closest thing would be Pikes Peak, and NASCAR used to run back there in the early 2000s was the last time they were there. And there's been talks of NASCAR going to Denver on kind of a street kind of situation. And I hate to say this, but a NASCAR IndyCar collab with Denver Broncos or it just, that could be so big for sports. I mean, we're talking, three different big name brands. You got IndyCar, NASCAR, Denver Broncos. I mean, that could be, if Roger Penske and NASCAR, the executives there, and I don't care. I know Pato Award mentioned it. He's tired of being the support series or what. Listen, it's much bigger than that. It is. It's about growing the sport. When you're, and this is not a knock on IndyCar, but when you're averaging like 1.1, 1.2 million viewers, and NASCAR is at almost 4, you're the support series, and that's okay. Your name is getting out there. So what is the problem? What is the problem with that? Your name's getting out there. So at the same time, that those three collabing together could be something that could change sports, and especially auto racing, for the future.
Definitely, and on top of that, I don't know if a lot of our listeners or viewers have ever been to Denver, the Nuggets Stadium, Nuggets and Avalanche are right. Their stadiums right next to, close to Mile High. So you could bring four different sports. I know a lot. America doesn't like hockey, but you can bring four different sports into that, and try to get Nikola Jokic, the one of the he's a fantastic NBA player. But yeah, I think these collabs with different sporting events and different sporting venues, showing them in the background, I think that's a good thing for IndyCar. And Pato just needs to not bite the hand that feeds him sometimes, because like you said, if NASCAR, if being the feeder for being the second show, the minor leagues, I won't call them minor leagues, the opener. Well, we'll go with a band, with a concert. Being the opener, it gets more eyes on you. The first time I ever went and saw the band Perry or Luke Bryant, who is huge right now, I saw them as openers for Tim McGraw. So, and look, those two, Band Perry may not be together anymore, but Luke Bryan is huge. So Pato needs to, I think Roger needs to talk to him about that and not discourage the partnership with NASCAR, because whether Pato wants to admit it or not, I think IndyCar needs NASCAR more than NASCAR would need IndyCar.
Oh, 100%. Totally agree with you on that. And that's not me being, the NASCAR side of things. It's just viewership. If you look at viewership numbers, it's just facts when you come to that. But, any time we can get, I don't care if they come back to Indy, I love racing. we kind of talked about that, but I love racing. So if we can get racing anywhere where there's more racing on the weekend, and one thing I will credit IndyCar on is, thank goodness it's worth going to an IndyCar weekend. Okay, and I say that because of the weekend. You get at least two practices. You get qualifying. Most of the time there's a concert, and I know a lot of people were upset that the concert got canceled due to the weather. Obviously, we had the disaster here. God, that's been 15 years ago or so, where there was the concert with the high wind and the weather come through, and I think it killed a few people, seriously injured some people. So, when these big sports leagues, whether it's NASCAR, IndyCar, soccer, football, when they're making these decisions, it's not because they're like, oh, we don't care about the fans. It's because they actually care about the fans, because, if you're standing outside and you're at a concert and a 50-mile-an-hour wind comes through and blows something and hits, 5 or 6 people, or drum set gets blown off the stage, and then we're talking lawsuits, and it's just safer to make sure that everyone's safe. And I know a lot of people were upset with the concerts getting canceled, but listen, I hope that IndyCar comes back, because I think this was a huge success. I can't wait till the television numbers come out. I heard the attendance was sold out in the grandstand. I heard GM sales were crazy. Fans were packed. It was packed. You see it on TV. It was packed. Drivers were talking about it. So I think this is a big successful event. And I think it could be a staple on the IndyCar calendar. And we need more races in April, March and April, because could you imagine them trying to do anything in Indy, Michigan, anywhere up north right now? It's not going to happen. The weather here is so bipolar. It was sunny earlier, and then it was blowing sideways snow. So, when I look at the schedule, we need those we need the Phoenix, we need the Texas. And I know some people are going to be upset, but even if they had to go back to thermal, as kind of boring the race was, and the fan experience isn't great, but that's another race that you can watch. So any race that we can get, but this has been a huge success. And I even think Phoenix was a huge success, from the marketing side of things with NASCAR and obviously hitting over 1 million viewers, at Phoenix. Like I said, I can't wait to see what the numbers are this week.
Oh yeah, definitely. It did look on TV. It looked very, very packed. Like there was a lot of people. I mean, I know that's typically the first time they ever have something like that. It's something that people are like, hey, let's go see this. If they come back next year, it'll be interesting to see how what they do to keep that momentum going. Because I mean, you can get them in once if it's the very first time, but getting them in to come to the second one, that's gonna be the challenge. So
and maybe that's where we run a couple years at Dallas. We take it to Phoenix, or not Phoenix. I'm sorry. We take it to Denver. Maybe we take it to San Diego, or we take it to Oakland, since Oakland lost the Raiders. There's not much there. So maybe you could boost that economy a little bit. Just reach. I mean, you get to these, NFL teams involved. You get these major cities involved. Arlington, being, as densely populated as it is. And I know some people are going to be like, well, you could go back to Circuit of the America. I'm sorry. This race was far better than any race that's happened at Circuit of the America, outside maybe the eventful NASCAR race we had there a couple weeks ago. But Formula One is kind of a snooze fest there, and the IndyCar race was just okay when we went there. So I think this was a much better race than anything we had at COTA. So this is huge. I mean, this could be something. I mean, could you imagine? I mean, we already run in Detroit, but could you imagine maybe the layout change, or you get the Lions involved a little bit more? I mean, this could be huge for IndyCar.
Oh yeah, definitely. Collabs are one of the best things that you could do. I don't think that I just came up with one. They could do it in Vegas. I don't know if you would feel that would be like copying off of F1, because F1 was there first. But you have you have Allegiant Stadium. That's a really nice stadium. You also have the Strip that is just that's fantastic.
I will say this: the fans might go, or the people that live in Vegas may go absolutely berserk if you bring another racing series in and shut the Strip down for another couple weeks like they do for F1. I mean, F1 is really, they've put a lot of money into Vegas, but man, I think the locals hate it, to be honest with you. I really do think the locals hate it, because
they do. And I talked about this last year.
Yeah,
when me and the wife were out there in June of last year. The Uber driver said that just it shuts the Strip down. It brings way too much traffic it's not useful to them, and it just makes it even more hassle. So
I mean, I don't think you could get them to do Vegas, and I think the parking lot, I mean, I was kind of worried with you're racing through a parking lot, and there's some streets and there was some parking lot. I was really worried about that, just because, like, how's that logistically going to work? But they did a great job. I mean, I really hope that IndyCar and Roger Penske and the Penske Corporation and Jerry Jones and the Cowboys organization really get, and let's not forget the city of Arlington as well, because I'm sure they had a helping hand in this. They all deserve so much credit for putting on an absolute incredible event.
Definitely. So we're gonna move on to our next topic,
because we could run that one for hours.
We could because we're all in the business of promoting this sport and getting it much bigger. Because if it gets much bigger, possibly we get bigger, because we have more things to talk about.
Absolutely,
and we can reach out to other fans. Okay, so on to our next topic. This is a new topic that we've been doing. Who's hot? Who's not? I have mine of who's hot. It might be the same person you have. We haven't talked about this. Who's hot to you? Who's hot to you?
I'm just gonna link this all together. I'm gonna say if we're just looking at this weekend, because that's kind of how we've been using this. Good grief. Sorry about that. I about just drop kicked the whole table here. If I hi Derek, how are you? It must be nice and warm down there. If I look at it from just this race, I have to go with Andretti Global, and they've been good on the street courses for years now. But man, they were so dominant, and Kyle Kirkwood just, lights out fast. And that's kind of why I took him. No one really picked him. It's been raining. I'm so sorry, Derek. It's been snowing here, so just count your blessings. I'd rather it be warm and raining than cold and snowy. So, yeah. So when I look at that, I think of Andretti Global and just how dominant they were. I think the curse has come off Will Power, although he did get into Scott Dixon in practice. But just overall, a really just good week for them. And I'm so sorry. But when I look at that and I see them come together, it's like they're all clicking. Ericsson. Last year we were talking about, is he going to be in that car, for this year? What are they going to do? And I'm really worried towards the end of the year. I think had Colton stuck around, I don't know that Ericsson would have been in that seat, to be honest with you. But man, he's turned it around this year. Qualified on the pole, was pretty quick. I know Kirkwood probably should have had the pole, but at the same time, man, just as an organization to come out of there with a 1, a 3, and 4, that's pretty incredible.
Yeah, definitely. You did have. I've changed mine because I was going to go with Kirkwood but you said we have to go with just this race because Kirkwood he's got some great finishes this year with a first place. He started outside the top 10 twice and came home with great finishes. But I've changed my mind. This guy was cold at the beginning. He was cold at the beginning of the week. He crashed in qualifying, but good Lord, Scott McLaughlin starting in 25th place, moving up 14 places to be able to get back just right outside the top 10. He ended up finishing 11th, but Scott McLaughlin, for his perseverance and being able to come back and rebuild it in that car, getting rebuilt, and after he had crashed in qualifying the day before, I'm going to give it to Scott McLaughlin. He was on the day of the race, he was hot. He came through that field, and I believe he was higher than 11th at one time. I don't know exactly what happened to him where he finished outside the top 10, but at one point I think he was up to the top 5 at one point. I can't remember if that's true or not, but I'm gonna go with Scott McLaughlin.
I think that was during one of those pit sequences there. But great run. I agree with you on that. And then we gotta hand out our who's cold of the week. So who do you have that's kind of chilly this week?
Oh, I'm gonna go with your favorite driver, Nolan Siegel. The boy kid just can't get right. If you've ever seen the movie Life with Martin Lawrence and Eddie Murphy, he can't get right. He's in a fantastic situation, but it just seems like he's never able to capitalize on anything. He's always in the wrong place at the wrong time, and I don't know if it's just bad luck or what it is. But Nolan Siegel is frigid right now. Someone get that man a coat because he's going to get a cold soon.
Now, I did see this on X. Someone made a comment about how, yes, it was Nolan's fault that Kiffin got into him and crashed him into Roman. And someone, and I don't know who this is, I wish I'd have screen grabbed it because I definitely would have shouted them out. But someone made the comment, he shouldn't even be back there. He shouldn't even be back there with Kiffin Simpson and Roman Grosjean. Because, his teammates, at one point, Christian Lundgaard was spun out by Mick Schumacher, who's learning. So So, we gotta. I'm not gonna beat Nolan this week, because I beat on him the last 2 weeks. So I'm glad you took him, because then I don't have to take him, but I can still talk about him. He shouldn't even be back there. Lundgaard come back to finish 7th, and we're talking pure pace. Well, he only had that one caution with 5 laps to go. It's not like it was, the pit strategy, a caution come out in the middle of it. There was none of that. And Lundgaard was spun out and come back to finish 7th. Pato, top 5. Nolan Siegel was running 25th when he got crashed. So it's like, okay, maybe he wasn't 25th, but he was back there because there was only 25 cars in the race. But I mean, he was back in the 20s. I think his average running position was probably 20th. So it's your teammates are outrunning you consistently, and it's not close. It's not like the we talked about it last year with Juncos Hollinger, where they were like neck and neck. I mean, it's not like where it's Dale Coyne where they're close. I mean, it's not close. It's 10, 12, 14 positions week in and week out where your teammates are way ahead of you. And it's not just the race. It's practice. It's qualifying. I mean, it's every session almost where he's just out in left field. I mean, is he even in the racetrack at some points? Like that's I mean, I hate to say that because I mean, he come in with so much potential. And I don't know if it was the, crash in qualifying for the 500 or what, but it's just gone. Like, I mean, I hate to say this, and I'm going to say it, and I might get criticized for it. I might get hate for it, but I think he's just there to be their TikTok guy. Like, I see him on TikTok doing these TikTok trends, and I'm like, okay, admin, let's leave Nolan out of this one so he can be in the simulator, or he can be working with the team, or he can be doing, more to improve. If you're doing your TikTok trends and you're running, if you're Alex Palou doing TikTok trends, or you're, even his 2 teammates doing TikTok trends, sure. But like, come on, man, this guy is week in and week out. He's running 20th or worse. And does he even have a finish better than 20th this year? I'm not sure that he does. I mean, let me pull the points real quick to see where he is in points. Because I'm sure he is 24th out of 25 in points.
Mick Schumacher's the only one that is below him. And
it's 1 point. It's not, and we have to remember too, Mick Schumacher crashed lap 1 at St. Pete. So, man, it's looking. All right, I have a question for you. Will Nolan Siegel be the driver of that car by the end of the year? Will he be driving that car come Laguna Seca?
No. If he doesn't do something drastic and have a fantastic race or a couple of races, I don't think one race is going to save him. If he doesn't have that, I don't think that they keep him on.
We talk about the leader circle because that's where you get that extra $1.1 million. That car is outside of that. I mean, they were on the verge last year of being outside of that. I mean, this is troubled waters for him. And I mean, he's going to have to be consistently running in the top 10 week in and week out. And I mean, we need to see slow progression. Like, I would love to see him running in the top 15. I mean, if he could make it to the top 15, you're not going to go from running 20th or worse to running top 10 instantly, unless something drastic changes. And I don't even know that if they come to him and said, hey, you need to run, you gotta have some, I don't know how to light a fire under him, but they gotta have to do something real quick, or that car is going to be outside the leader circle.
Okay, let me pose this question to you.
Sure.
If you had the choice and you took Nolan Siegel out, and you could replace him with any of these drivers that I give you, who would it be?
Okay.
Kiffin Simpson, Collette, Foster, Ferrucci, or Stingray Robb? Who do you think is the most deserving to take that? Louis Foster.
Louis Foster, 100%. He's showing so much speed with RLL, at times where RLL hasn't. I mean, the rest of the cars haven't been overly quick. So definitely Louis Foster. I could make a case for Santino as well. Ferrucci, I could make a case for him as well. He's had some bad luck this year. But I could make a case for Santino. I could make a case for Louis. Kiffin Simpson. I haven't seen enough out of him and we're talking championship winning team. Chip Ganassi Racing, Scott Dixon, he had last year was just an off year for him, but that car is not competitive either. I don't know if he stays in that car after this year or when his contracts, due up. But I mean, we're looking. I mean, you see these young, you see these young talent coming in. You see Dennis Hauger coming in. You see Kyle Collette coming in. I mean, he was the top finishing rookie yesterday. Finished, I believe, 12th. So he's running really well, and that's a car that David Malukas ran really well in last year. So I mean, you kind of look to see. I mean, he's a rookie, come out of Indy Next by Firestone. So you look at that and you're like, okay, can he kind of hold that? Can he catch on? And he has so far. I mean, he's running really well. So you look at that and you're like, okay, this guy is outrunning Nolan Siegel. You have Dennis Hauger, who's outrunning Nolan Siegel. And these guys, I mean, AJ Foyt has the technical alliance with Penske. Dale Coyne kind of has a little bit of a technical alliance with Andretti, with having Hauger there. But like Dale Coyne Racing, we've seen them the last couple of years, and just like, a couple of years ago, we were talking about throwing darts at the dartboard to see who's driving the car. And we talked about last year having that consistency with the two drivers, with Rinus VK and Jacob Abel. And you see, if you can keep those drivers in there and keep that consistency, you get the team working together. You see what Rinus did with that team. Kind of seeing it with Dennis Hauger, and Grosjean had a bad race, but I mean, those cars were fast at St. Pete. They were fast at Phoenix. So, man, it's a matter of time. So you asked that question, and I don't think I answered who was cold. Mick Schumacher, I hate to do that to him, but I mean, just complete the laps. Quit spinning out. Just complete all the laps. If you get lapped, that's cool too, but just complete the laps that you can. Gain knowledge. And maybe that, I mean, I don't want to say him crashing into Joseph Newgarden or Lundgaard was learning, but those are learning experiences, learning the what the car can and can't do, and where you can and can't put the car in those situations. So I hate to give him the cold, but I mean, he spun out 2 cars yesterday. So I hate to do that to him because he is a rookie. He's learning. I mean, this is totally different than anything he's run before. And I know people are going to say, well, it's open wheel car. Well, yeah, this car doesn't have power steering. This car is a spec car. So things like that. But I mean, he's learning. I see potential. Like he's quick at times, and there's laps where I'm like, oh my gosh, like he's putting down decent laps, but then it's like, hey, he's making those rookie mistakes, which you expect a rookie to do, but like, clean it up a little bit and just try and run those laps and get a good rhythm. Even if you're 10 seconds off the pace, just get into a rhythm to where you're like setting laps at consistent pace, where you're like, okay, you're 120s now. Let's see if we can bump it to a 119. Okay, you bumped it to a 119. Let's see if leaders running 117s. Let's see if we can bump it to a 118. Just to get that experience and see what the cars can and can't do.
Most definitely, Mick. I mean, even though he's had two fantastic saves to either keep it off the wall or keep the race going, he's got to figure out just how to complete the laps. Even if it's sitting at the back of the pack and just rolling around, just getting the feel for the car. I think that's one thing. So, Iowa, congratulations to one Michael Monroe. He chose the correct driver this week, and he gets a bonus 5 points for choosing the winner of the race. You're on mute.
See, here's the thing. I can start over now. I wasn't overly. I pushed for a different points format for this year, but I kind of was like, okay, let's try it. We'll see. And to be the first winner, I'm pretty excited for that. So, to be sitting, I went from 0 to 6 points real quick. And I'm super excited about that. And I think I have this right. And Derek, if you're still watching, you can correct me if I'm wrong, because I thought I confirmed this, but I'm going to throw this up here if I can. Correct me, Derek, if I'm wrong, but I thought we said that you got the 1 point plus the 5 bonus points, but correct me if I'm wrong if you're still here. Josh, is that how you thought it was, or maybe I misheard that?
That's what I was under the impression. If you choose the top finisher and they happen to win the race, you get an extra bonus 5 points. So right. The Vance household no longer holds the supremacy on our on our pick'em, and you are now a whopping 6 points over me and 5 points over Derek and Joy. So we're all going to have to step up our game to be able to catch
winning matters. I think that's good. I think that when in the IndyCar series, if you win, that matters, and I think in our points picks that matters as well. So I mean, I picked Kirkwood just for the simple fact that he was fast all weekend, and then he's sitting back there in 6th at one point, and I'm like, really? And then Armstrong had his thing. Joy had tried to pick Armstrong. I made that. No one caught on to that joke, or no one said anything about the joke. I was like, Armstrong, you said, well, there goes my pick. And I was like, well, Joy can have him now.
I was just in disbelief the fact that before my selection, he was out before the race even started. I'm like, well, that's fantastic. I took Grosjean. Grosjean 1 week, he didn't do very well. I can't pick anyone right now.
I know you went winning 2 years ago.
The good thing is I am choosing I'm waiting off to keep like the better drivers till the end of the year. So I'm taking some of the, as I would call the mid-tier drivers right now, just hoping that maybe they can finish ahead. But I will be back.
Oh yeah, definitely. I guess you will be holding on to, let's see, McLaughlin, and I get to pick first. That was a new rule. I don't think we announced that, but I get to pick first next week, which I don't know if I like or not. I get put on the spot. Maybe I'll hold off to like right before the green flag, and I'll put mine in, and you guys can't pick.
Oh, no. We're gonna have to enact a rule that you have to have it in at least 10 minutes beforehand.
I got to have it in before the green flag, but the guy who won the week before definitely has to get it in early. So that's pretty much all I had on the agenda for this evening. Obviously, we don't have to talk about Barber because we have a week off. We won't have a week off. We'll be back next week to preview Barber. But do you have anything else you want to add to this episode before we call it a night?
We give Alex Palou flowers all the time. The man had a DNF and he's still in second place of the points. He's 25 points behind Kyle Kirkwood. But I mean, you thought that maybe him having the DNF was going to get him behind, but he just comes back and finishes second in the next race, and still he's just 25 points behind. So I mean, kudos to the man. He's a machine.
Man, it's just crazy.
I'm excited to see if him and Kirkwood can go back and forth. That would be one heck of a battle back and forth over the year, and we would have something to talk about later on in the year that other besides like we had last year, where it was just like he ran away with the points and all we could talk about was other stuff.
Well, we talk about that, but can Honda keep up this domination? Like, I mean, they've won obviously the championship last year, but like they won 2 of the first 3 races. They had a lot of, they had 4 of the top 5 yesterday. So, I mean, Honda, it seems like with this chassis and this hybrid system that kind of got thrown into an old chassis where you just kind of like, let's pull this out and, kind of wiggle this and shove this. And there you go. Honda just, and I'm not just saying this because I bought a new Honda that has a hybrid in it, but man, that Honda Honda and the hybrid are just like in sync. And I know we've talked to Chevy execs and we've talked to Honda execs, and they're like, well, it doesn't do, I mean, it's not like it does a whole lot more, but it does have a little bit. But like, there's no denying that Honda has it figured out because they have been supreme. And maybe I'll have that stat for next week to see out of the races since we've had the hybrid system, how many Hondas won versus Chevy. It might be closer than we think, but I mean, Alex Palou won so many last year, and Kirkwood won several. So it'll be interesting to see. I might have that breakdown next week just to see, because it seems like Honda's won like half at least probably 3/4 of the races with the hybrid era.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, Honda's dominating Chevy right now, and Chevy's got to figure out what they can do to get back and get some wins and get their name restored. So, like you said, March 29th is Barber. We got this week off, which is, it's refreshing having three races in a row. I like that. I really liked having those 3 races in a row, as opposed to, having St. Pete and then having almost a month off until we got to the next race. I think IndyCar did a really good job of adding Phoenix and adding Arlington to the schedule, and it's a bump, I think, in my opinion.
Now, I did kind of have that. Is a week off, or is this a good stopping point, kind of like to not necessarily, I guess the fans always want more, but like, is it kind of like we ended, like Arlington was so good, like the racing was good. I mean, and it was up until that last, 5-6 laps, like that was just a straight race. Like you're not going to see anything much better than that from start to finish. Like that's how the race evolved. You don't get these like kind of like, oh, there was a little piece of debris, so we had to throw cautions. Kind of that was just a straight, and you've seen so many different strategies with power on the 2 and other people on 3 and other people on 4. Like that is just such a great evolution. Is this a point where now we can say, all right, we left the fans hanging. Let's see if they come back. Is this a good stopping point to kind of like, all right, everyone like kind of get the teams get their everything back in order. I mean, it's been a long time since the teams have had 3 races back to back to back. So they might be, you look at the Andretti team, they need obviously some help on the pit stops. But you look at some of these teams that have had bad races, crashed 2 or 3 cars. They might need some time at the shop.
Oh yeah, I definitely think this is a great time. Gives the drivers a week off to restore themselves mentally. I guess a week and a half off to restore themselves mentally, get back in good headspace. If you've been struggling during the year, this is a good time to go back, watch the races, watch the telemetry, figure out what you're doing right, what you're doing wrong. And also it allows those teams that have crashed cars, that have damaged cars, to be able to get back into the fabrication shop, get them put back together, get them looking great. And it also gives Fox should blitz. If they do this right, they'll blitz, big media markets. Hey, Barber's coming up in a couple weeks. We had this fantastic race out here in Arlington. Kyle Kirkwood, they need to show that pass of him passing Palou on the inside. Palou goes out to the outside and then Palou didn't even see it coming. They need to re-show that over and over and over and say, hey, these two are duking it out. This is Ali and Frazier. This is Rocky and Apollo facing off each other, and it could come down to the last race. Hey, come see what's going on at Barber. This is a fantastic race, and we're excited to see you come on March 29th. They just need to keep repeating that date over and over and over. They used to have a lot of monster trucks. Sunday, March 29th. Hey, come out and watch us on March 29th at this time. We're going to have fantastic racing for you.
Yeah, I totally agree. This is a good time for Fox to kind of get those gears in check and kind of, help build, get that build. Like, like you're saying, get the bill, get the bill, get the bill, get the bill. So that when when that Sunday comes, people are like, hey, I'm going to watch that because I've heard about it. What you think of those commercials where they stick in your head, when the kids tested, mother approved for kicks back in the day, like silly rabbit tricks are for kids. Those catchy things. Give me something catchy that gets me to say, hey, there was something today. The IndyCar race at Barber at whatever time. I think it's 12, but we'll discuss that more next week. But the catchy something put out social media needs to be going pretty heavy on that. Commercials, and not here in Indy. I mean, you can show them here in Indy, that's fine, but like show them. Hopefully, they're showing them, countrywide because
stop showing advertisements for the 500.
They're going to just because to get people hyped.
You're going to get people. You're going to get people to watch it.
I know, but you want to hear hype. People like, oh man, is that Mace? Come in and then they're like, May. Oh yeah, May. Yes. So just give this. I know we don't need the ad for it, but you're going to get the ad for it just because it's such a. It's so big, and we talk about it for IndyCar and how big it is, but we're talking about IndyCar. We're talking about the local economy. We're talking about what it does for the state of Indiana as a whole, and we're talking about something that happens in Speedway Indiana that affects the entire state. That's why it is one of those things that, and ticket sales, parking has sold out. So if you're looking to get parking, it is sold out for the 500. They do have this really cool thing. It's called bike or bus. You can bus in. No, you can park. I think it's downtown. You park, and then you got to pay. Hopefully you don't have to pay to park and then pay to ride the bus. I don't know really how that works, but you can bus in or you can ride your bike in. I don't know if they'll let me ride my e-bike through the garage area. That wouldn't be safe, but I would ride my bike for sure. I love riding my e-bike because I don't have to do anything with it. Just throttle up and go. But hopefully we will find out if we will be attending soon. I know Derek sent all our info in, and yeah, we'll see. But hopefully we're there. We've covered it I've covered it the last year, and you and Derek have covered it the last couple of years as well. So it's like I said, it's so big for the state. Not just Indianapolis or Speedway, but the state of Indiana. So I'm excited. I see you started talking about May, and here we are. I'm getting excited just talking about May because, if you've never been to the Indy 500 and you're watching this, find a way to come to the Indy 500 because it's not just this one little area in Speedway, Indiana. I do deliveries all over this area, and people have their Indy 500 flags up. No, I've never seen anybody put a flag up for anything other than the Indy 500 because it's so crazy. You get IMS flags out. You've got Indy 500. People are putting checkered flags out all over their house. It's not just Speedway Indiana that celebrates this. It is like the entire state celebrates this one day, and it's going to be a little different this year if you're a race fan like I am because you were not getting Monaco in the morning. It's kind of shoved in between. It's going to be an interesting. I don't know how it's going to work. It's going to be interesting, but that's May, and we'll talk a lot about that coming up here, not too far away. But we have several races that we've got to talk about before, and the next one is Barber. And I know I will be back next week. Josh is taking a vacation. Maybe Derek will be back, hopefully. Otherwise, it will just be the one-man show next week. And I don't know how many people will tune in to watch me chat up a storm like I have tonight. I don't know if I took some happy pills or what, but man, I was ready to talk tonight. And it's been a good episode. I hope, Josh, you had a good night.
I did.
We get to talk a lot of IndyCar.
Yep. You'll be the one-man band next week.
Oh, man, that's not going to be good. No, it was a three-man band back in the day.
I know, but then Heath Slater became the one-man band. So
I know, here we go.
But unlike him, you don't have kids.
That's true. I don't have kids, so I ain't got to worry about Brock Lesnar coming in and saying he doesn't care about my kids. But that's a whole different thing. We could talk another podcast about that. But do you have anything else you want to talk about before we hit the road?
Nope. My wife is over on the couch giving me the wrap-up sign, so we got to go.
My wife probably is already asleep. So, for Josh, for myself, for Derek, who had to chime in about his wonderful weather. We will be back. I don't know how many of us will be back. I know Josh won't be back, but I will be back, or Derek will be back, or in some form, some way. You will see the Push to Pass podcast right back here Monday next week at 7 p.m. Until then, we will see you next week.